The Royal Society is an institution of some significance in the history of science. And the motto of the Royal Society is Nullius in Verba. Take no one's word for it. It expresses a spirit of interest in phenomena of the natural world, however they may appear, and the idea that we can look at them directly, check them for ourselves, understand them for themselves, rather than depending on hierarchies of authority in order to understand the world. So, in that spirit, I'm going to do another demo. So, the first demo I did, which I will link here, is about phenomenology, in which I drew my hand and the experiences that were going through my hand as I noted them. So check that video out. It's pretty cool. Today, we're instead going to talk about, or rather, I'm going to demo again, the body, some things about the body. And the specific concept I'm going to try to demonstrate is the way in which the body tries to take actions seemingly of its own accord in a way that we don't have conscious control over, or at least we don't seem to. So I'm going to demonstrate this in a similar manner. I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And I'm going to move my body in some weird ways. Totally PG, don't worry about that. But one thing I'll say is take care if you try anything like this at home. This can be done in a completely safe, completely fine manner. However, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what you have going on. And you can get into some odd states when you're experimenting with what your body does naturally of its own accord. Weird tensions can arise, weird motions. So overall, be safe. If you're not sure what you're doing, seek qualified assistance. Specifically, be careful about, not rapidly moving your head in a way that might harm your neck or, biting your tongue. Like, there's ways you can hurt yourself with your body, but, don't do it. So with those caveats given, let us jump into the demo. All right. So the way that I want to do this is I'm going to give two angles of my body, and let's say that the process I'm going to follow involves following body sensations, specifically sensations in the form of urges. I should just say following urges in the body. Urges makes it sound a little bit weird. Let's say, what do they feel like? They feel like they're pre-encoded in some way, and like there's these natural body actions that my body just wants to do. So I'm just going to try to show it, and this is an experimental setup. First thing I'm going to do before I start, by the way, is I'm going to feel a little bit self-conscious about my belly, and here it is. Here's my belly. I'm just putting it out there in order to make myself feel a little bit less self-conscious about it. So let's start a timer here. All right, perfect. Here we go. So my head's a little bit chopped off, but you don't really need to see my head. So the first thing I'm going to do in order to find out what my body wants to do is breathe. And I'm going to, you may have seen things like this before in meditative contexts or in the context of, yoga or whatever. But I'm just trying to do that clearing a space thing, letting my body just exist and feel into it, right? Got my heart rate up a little bit. I don't know how this video is going to come out. A little anxiety. Shake it. Okay, fine. It's part of our warm up. You kind of know what that is. And now that I'm here, look at what is my body doing? What just happened? It just went to the left. Now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to reset. I'm going to reset into my normal state. I'm going to look at the camera. I'm going to reset into my normal, I'm a person walking around in life, and I have a normally structured body, and I don't twist all over the place. And now I let that go a little bit, and I sort of just see where my body's going to go. All right, that was weird. It happened differently. So I'm hunched over, got a cavity in my chest, and my neck is doing this thing. Again, I mentioned be careful with your neck, but I'm going slow. I feel good about what I'm doing, and I just follow that until it turns me. I'm going to pop out for a second just to explain. Some people doing this will be like, well, my body won't do that, or how do I know if my body's going to do it? Let me just tell you, your body will do it. People have tried to convey the idea of doing versus non-doing, where this is sort of a framework for setting up your attention and intention. This is one of those non-doing things where you kind of just try to stop doing stuff you were doing and keep turning left. I happen to know this about myself, that my body turns left. I better just play it out rather than just doing the beginning. So I'm going to play it out for like a minute and show you kind of where it goes. First the breath. Let's go. That neck thing kind of just happened. Your body wants to lean. Shoulders going up. And now it starts twisting to the right. Kind of gets hung up here. Now, here we go. Here's a weird body position. Now, I'm sort of slowing it down a little bit, but you can see what's happening. My shoulders are twisting back. It's very overt, right? It's very overt in this case. And I can feel that tension kind of going down from my shoulders. I don't know if this is visible, but like I'm flexing really hard. My abs are flexing, and I feel like this power is going down my body, tightening in my lower back. And it kind of feels good. Kind of feels good to like flex the abs, like lower abs in a way I don't usually do. Now I'm in this strange position. My left shoulder's acting up. Yep, let's follow it. So I'm just going to sort of rest here for a minute. People who saw my last video will have noted these cases where I drew arrows on the hand I was drawing, like vectors. And so I kind of imagine these vectors like moving through my body, like pushing me in different directions. And the breath kind of goes with it. And it's weird. What is this? What am I doing? Why am I doing this? This is weird. Well, sorry, my breath passage is a little bit different because I want to twist it up. But like, what is this thing that my body's doing? In a way, I'm not really sure what I plan to do with this demo. I just sort of thought I would show the phenomenon. I don't know if people think that this is real or not, or like if I'm just adding it or doing it. But to test it yourself, there's a way in which it's so easy to do that it's almost impossible to describe. So I'm going to reset. It feels a little weird to reset, right? Because now that I've followed these tracks in my body, these weird loops and stuff, it feels a little weird to pop back into my normal self. It's almost like I want to walk around for the rest of the day with these like dinosaur hands and this strange twist, because it feels good. There's a lot of theory behind that. Why does it feel good? You can think of body actions as existing in layers. This might be like a little bit much for me to explain in a quick way. But imagine that, okay, here's my default life layer. I'm a person. I'm a man. I walk around, right? Imagine that that is layered on top of this other stuff. So if we peel that away, neck shit, right? And again, that same tension pattern where my shoulder blades are like compressing at the top. And again, it's weird, but it feels good. Just feels good to do. I'm sweating, by the way. It's probably even might show on my shirt, but like I am sweating right now. It's also hot. So this is something that, you know, again, choose your own adventure, proceed with care. This is something that I can do. I can do for an hour. I can do it for 30 minutes. I can do it for 15 minutes. Even the 10 minutes is sort of intense. But it often just is like my body just wants to move. It just wants to go in these different directions. And it just, the interesting thing about it is the more that I do this activity, not one I've invented, by the way. I've been influenced by a lot of people, and there's a lot of traditions that describe this. It probably is described by the Alexander Technique people. I'm actually often just surprised to not see as many descriptions of weird body motions in meditation. Often in meditation they say sit still, right? Zazen in particular is one tradition that says you want to sort of adhere to this very extreme posture, and it's not a bad thing, it's just different. So for me, a lot of tension's appearing. It's a lot of this twisting back and forth, right? And a lot of this lateral rotation. My legs kind of want to get into it. I sometimes find that I'm not paying attention to part of my body, and as soon as I pay attention to it, it starts to get in on the action. So I just started paying attention to my legs, and now, like, where are we going? Oh, very strange. Very. Oh. You might notice yourself overriding it. You might notice yourself kind of deciding that you know where it's going to go and planning that out, but you want to let go of that. So right now I'm in a weird position where I'm kind of squatting and my leg is shaking because my legs feel weak, and I can't tell if my body's going to adjust to that. I'm sort of just trying to let my whole body adjust to the existence of my whole body. Oh. So that was intense. I'll explain that in a minute. I just gotta let it roll out for a second. Heart's beating hard. So what was that just happened? That hardcore flex and then the like, you know? The interesting thing is that I feel like I can breathe more easily on the other side of it. I'm familiar with that particular action, that particular. So I'm going to pop out of the natural. Look at the sweat. I'm going to pop out of this natural motion for a second just to recreate it. So popping out this like, right, compression. It carries some thematic similarity to what was happening earlier. You know, the pressure. You know, first of all, the caving chest, the pressure that goes down through the lower abs, and then it goes all the way to my breathing passage. Even this tension in the upper body kind of feels like it has some relationship to that. You know, this thing that was happening. And afterwards I just feel better. So we've got a little bit of like a minute left, and I'll just try to demo like a cool down, because after you do something like this, you don't necessarily want to just like jump right into real life again. I'm just going to kind of let my body do what it's doing, and I'm going to slowly take back control for normal existence once again. Let it get a few more things out. Yeah, it really, this one shoulder action, it's recurring for me. It's recurring for me. I'm just kind of slowly stepping out, and like, you know, I'm just now I'm just adding some of this. You know, do some shaking, do some moving, just stretch your shit, and that's the basic idea. At the end of the day, it can be good to just lay down after something like this. I'm going to take a shower. Now let's talk about what that was, and for a minute. So, what the hell just happened? The thing I just displayed is something like a very specific phenomenon of the body having actions it likes to take or wants to take or is inclined to take when you let go of control. This can be rather subtle. I don't want to demo too much. I'm just going to give another little example. So this can be super subtle. I showed a macro version, like what it's like when you play it out. But let's do it again. So really quick demo. Demo 2. If you look at my neck or my head, the orientation of my head, I'm going to close my eyes and like release control for a minute. Boom. There's just like a little bit of an action. Let's let go again. It's kind of subtle. In fact, at first it was like my neck wanted to do this, but when I really lean into it, this is going to be subtle again. Kind of wants to do this. It's like a back and forth. And if I follow that, it's more of a circle. And if I follow that, it's not just my neck. It's kind of like, and there's these little spirals. I feel like I'm going down a water slide. For the millionth time, I'll mention again, be careful with your neck. Be careful with your jaw. You might want to be careful with your eyes, etc. But I'm not going to go way into this right now, but you can see, again, I'm trying to show this little action, this like, it kind of goes into a thing. And you can see this all over your body. It might depend on how much access you have to that part of your body, but I've had my feet, this is a weird one. My foot, when I meditate, if I do a certain type of meditation, pretend this is my right foot, it'll just start curling like this while I'm laying there. I'll lay down and my foot will just start curling, and then it like will do stuff, and it'll go up to my hip. This is my hip. If this is my leg, go to my spine, right? Let's just say, boom, there's a demo. What is it? I'll try to explain how this all comes together in future videos. I do want to give a little bit of a hint that part of why I do this is not just because psychology is cool, but because I think there are some important truths about what this all means that relate to things like artistic expression. Because first you look at, you could say video 1 here was just looking at the raw data of phenomenology. Video 2 is kind of showing one specific type of thing that arises when you pay a lot of attention to the body. But what happens when you start looking at emotional content? That's a bigger thing. So I won't get into it too much here, but tune in next time. Please subscribe. I got to start asking people to subscribe to my fucking channel. And I hope this was interesting to at least some of you.